What is good? I am back with another reaction video. Brendan Schaub trashed Howard Stern. This is on the latest episode of The Fighter and the Kid. I guess he didn't like Howard going after Joe Rogan, so I'm going to play this, react to it, and give you my thoughts on it. But what have we done here, B? Let's see what Brendan Schaub had to say about Stern and if we agree with him or not.
Howard Stern going off on Joe Rogan.
What?
Because of he says anti-vax views, but he just doesn't like the way that Joe Rogan talks about the vaccine.
This is the only time Howard Stern's been relevant in the past 10 years. So congrats that you're back in the headlines. But this how stupid Howard Stern is with his stuff. He thinks by getting vaccinated that it's a cure. It stops COVID. Mm-hmm. He's like, get vaccinated. We can stop this thing. No. It will subdue if you do get it, but it doesn't cure fucking COVID, dum-dum. So he goes, I heard Joe Rogan saying, what are you busting my balls for? I took horse dewormer and a doctor gave it to me. He said, well, a doctor would also give you a vaccination, so why take horse dewormer? The shock jock who supports mandatory vaccination also has a message for all the shitheads.
Howard Stern is no longer a shock jock.
Country won't get vaccinations. Now, before I go on, you realize Howard Stern, this is how scared he was. He stayed in his house, did his show from his house, refused to drive into Manhattan. No one listened to the show. So he has, we have no time for idiots in this country anymore. We don't want you. We want you all either go to the hospital or stay home, die there with your COVID. This guy who stayed home. Take that cure, but don't
take
clog
the
up
cure, but don't clog up our hospitals.
With your COVID, when you finally get it, stay home. Don't bother with science. Too late, go fuck yourself. We just don't have time for you. We have it so good in this country, people forget about disease. It always wasn't like this. You don't get to live to be 80 years old automatically. It's done with science. The reason we live for long is because of science. I'm really out of mind to say, look, if you didn't get vaccinated, you got COVID, you don't get into the hospital. You had the cure and you wouldn't take it.
He thinks vaccine's the cure, but there's people vaccinated.
It's not a cure, dum-dum. It's not a cure.
You're more likely to get it if you get the vaccine.
So there is one thing. No, that's not true. That's absolutely not true. But
That's not true.
So there
That's
is
why
no.
everything
That's,
I've read said
well,
that
You're more likely to
reading
get it
the
if
wrong
you get the
thing.
vaccination.
It's
No.
a Delta variant, yeah.
That's absolutely not true. Here's the thing. So it is. So the people in the ICU beds and the people that are dying right now, statistically, are people who didn't get vaccinated. You can look at all the data. That is a fact. So I think the argument becomes, your taxpayers still have to pay for you when you don't have insurance and you're in there and you're. Now here's the thing, in my opinion also. I believe in maximum personal freedom. And if you take the vaccine, you're protected. You can still get COVID, you can still carry it, you can still
pass it.
Very rarely.
You can still pass it.
Apparently you can still pass it. So if you want to get the vaccine, right. If you want to get the vaccine, and that's what I think. But the problem with making it mandatory is you have to show proof on your phone. Now you can be tracked. Now it's a vaccine passport. And so it's a very difficult, dicey situation.
Dicey.
So some people say, well, that's okay when it comes to public health. Probably. I am pro-vaccine. I get it. But I also am pro-freedom. And I do think we're in a very dangerous, slippery slope. How much freedom did we lose over this war on terror? Where everywhere you go, and you know this from your recent experience, everywhere you go, you're on video.
Oh, yeah.
Everywhere you go, you're on video.
Yep.
That's fine until the wrong people get in power and start using that against you. And
Yeah.
that's always been historically the problem.
But also, and I have no idea the statistics, but Rogan had COVID, right?
Yep.
So the antibodies that you build up of having COVID is better than the vaccine.
There's a lot
are
of science.
facts.
There's a lot of science that suggests that.
Yes.
There's a lot of science
Yes.
and that's not political. That is what a lot of scientists are saying.
For sure.
Right? So we have to be open and honest also about that.
Because then what happens if a guy, and Howard didn't think like this because he's a soy boy. What happens if you got COVID and you have the antibodies? So let's say you got COVID 2 months ago, but you have the antibodies. And then you go into the hospital for undisclosed reason. They go, are you vaccinated? You go, no. And according to his theory, they turn you away because you're not vaccinated. But I have the antibodies. What are you talking about, dude? I'm good. But I didn't get vaccinated because I chose not to, and I'm here for a different reason, but I'm not vaccinated. You're going to turn that person away?
Well,
It's America, you fucking
I'm going to do you
idiot.
one better, though. So now you're able to track it on your phone. So they can also track, if they wanted, they can track when you're around somebody who hasn't been vaccinated. So that means that could put you, so when now you're traveling overseas and they get that information on their computer and they say you've been exposed to somebody who wasn't vaccinated, you can't go on this trip, or you got to go get a negative COVID test because you might be carrying anyway. So all of a sudden, you being around somebody who's not vaccinated is a liability. It could even affect whether or not you get to stay at a certain private hotel, maybe rent a place for a month, maybe an Airbnb. This is how you start developing this idea of social credit score. This is what's happening in China. In China, you're always tracked with facial recognition technology. That is here now. And the question is, how much of your freedom do you want to lose in the name of public safety? That is a question.
Yeah.
Dude, how about Arnold said, fuck your freedom? Like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah, it's a really interesting debate here in this country. My feeling always goes back to the fact that if I believe in vaccines, I believe in science, and I'm going to do it.
Me too. But if I'm vaccinated and you're not, that's on you, dude.
Correct.
Do your thing.
That's what I say.
Do your thing. I don't give a fuck.
That's what
Do your thing, man. That was your decision.
Yes.
I don't care. I'm vaccinated. I'm taking care of myself.
Yes.
And if I get COVID, I'm be less likely to die. And if you get COVID, odds are you're gonna be okay too. But if you end up worse off, that's you, man. That's
Felt
on
the
you.
same way about lockdowns. My daughter, for all you fucking people, my daughter was alone in her room learning school virtually at 12 years old in her room.
Nightmare.
Okay, so fuck you. What instead of lockdowns, I would have loved to have seen us say, okay, we know that this virus does discriminate. It does discriminate. It discriminates against people who are very overweight and old people.
Underlying health conditions.
All those people are worthy of protecting, and I don't want any of them
Sweden
to
did
die.
that, right?
So what you do is you go, if you're at a high risk category, you need to stay home. And let's figure this out until we get a vaccine.
Maybe don't go around grandma.
Don't shut down everybody's fucking business. My problem with health bureaucrats who have nothing to lose and don't pay any price for being wrong, shut down people's businesses that they took 30 years to build. And unless you've done that, unless you've been an entrepreneur, unless you have a business and you rely on that stuff in a marketplace, you don't appreciate what it is and you have no idea what they've lost. So I don't like when people who don't pay a price for being wrong and don't pay a price for policy make policy. I got a problem with that, and all of us should.
Yeah, it's not good.
That's what we're dealing with, man.
At least Howard Stern's in the headlines again. Name the last
He's
time.
got $500 million. I don't really want to. I don't.
No,
care.
I'm not trying to hear from him. Yeah, stay in your castle and shout at people.
Yeah,
still.
and you stayed home because you could.
Your show's a shell of itself. What are you talking about, dude? And yeah, you stay home in your castle and preach from there. What are you talking about, dude? What are you talking about?
In a way, it's like you don't really live in the real world, my friend.
No, God, no. He paints and talks to the therapist, and his show's a complete shit show.
There you go.
When's the last time you've been here? Someone's like, you hear that Howard Stern?
No.
Ever. Since he went to
I
Sirius.
actually never really listened
He's
to
still
Howard
on
Stern.
Sirius.
He's on
Who
Sirius,
has
dude.
Sirius? I don't even have Sirius.
Rental cars, and they count them as subscribers, sir. Only when you buy a new car, you get a rental car. That's the only time. That's the only time when you get a rental car. Like, oh shit, they're serious. I guess I'll try it out. But whenever it's relevant,
Sirius
ever.
didn't work out, did it?
No, who listens to Sirius? I have fucking Spotify and iTunes, for God's sakes. Why do we get Sirius? I can pick the music I want to listen to at any time. You listen to Sirius?
Yeah, there's a punk station on there.
All right, there's one
called
punk
Faction
station,
Punk
dude.
that I listen
but
to.
you have a Sirius subscription
Yeah, I have a subscription.
in your car.
Yeah.
It came with it.
No, it came with it, but then, but then I
subscribe.
purchased it. Yeah,
okay.
subscribe, so.
That's hilarious.
But think about it. It only comes in new
I haven't
cars.
thought about Sirius.
What else would they do? No one's
thought
like
about it.
venturing out to find fucking Sirius.
Yeah.
It's dinosaur land.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I've been in that office. I've been in that.
Oh yeah, I've been in there a bunch of times.
Wait, where? Yeah, it's Culver City, right?
There's one down here and there's one in New York
City.
too. There's one here though too.
Oh, no, wait, it's right in Hollywood.
Yeah, there's one in Hollywood and there's one in New York.
The one at Howard.
I've been a bunch of times. We went together.
Yeah, we went together.
We went to Howard
Howard's,
Stern. Yeah.
Yeah.
We did that other show.
The After Dark
show.
or whatever.
He ain't shit. What else you got, Jen?
Alrighty.
They did the wrap-up show. So, yeah, that was them going in. Well, Schaub is talking about, he's kind of got it wrong there, but see what happens if you buy a car, it comes with Sirius, and then if you let your service lapse, they still give you hits 1 for free, the first hit on Sirius, and it still just count you as a subscriber. But in general, overall, is what Brendan Schaub said correct? I think it kind of is. I mean, I kind of agree with him. I mean, first of all, you must really watch my channel to know that much about Howard Stern, the painting, and the stuff like. For someone who's so irrelevant, Brendan Schaub knew an awful lot about him. But yeah, I mean, of course, Brendan has to protect Bappa Rogan, and that was the main vitriol for him going off on Stern. But I mean, saying he's irrelevant, kind of true. I think he's chalking it up to Stern just wanted to get his name in the headlines. I guess so. I mean, but Sirius does that anyway. But I think he's right. When the last time, well, people did talk about when he first went off about saying, well, they did say that because he went off on Joe Rogan. Yeah, I must say, I think Brendan Schaub is ultimately correct in this. So, well, I never thought the words would leave my mouth, B. I think Brendan Schaub might be right. But I really want to get your thoughts on the entire thing. So let me know your thoughts in the comments.